I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello and welcome to the Monday KVJShow After the Show podcast. Got all the fellows here today. Virginia is in New Orleans for the Mardi Gras fun.
She comes back on Wednesday, or
Yep.
she'll be on the show for Wednesday.
She will, yeah, be on the show for Wednesday. Maybe we'll give her a call here in a minute to see what she's up to.
Okay, if I am tired, Kev.
Such a good time. So many beads. Beads all over the place.
Mama needs a nap, though.
Suck the heads off so many crawfish.
It really does repulse me when she does that in front of me. She really slurps the brains out.
Yeah, she does a lot of slurpy noises.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It looked like they had really good weather, though, from photos. She did a little bit of a fit check, and I saw on the news, too. They were talking a bit. The big headline there was how they're keeping everybody safe, because if you remember the New Year's Eve thing where that person rode the truck down Bourbon Street. So seems like everything's going okay, and it's all safe right now, so.
Did she get turn, or did she just kind of... Because sometimes she does the family style, where she'll drink a little bit, but she don't get crazy, upside down twerking Virginia.
I honestly think she might have turned a corner. The complete, I'm blackout drunk Virginia, that you might see less of that. I think
so, too.
I think her little episode there during the Christmas break has kind of changed her a bit. And look, I get it, because I've been there, and I've had that long talk with myself and said, all right, dude, what are you doing? That's completely out of control. There's no reason why you should be that hammered.
You have that moment where you go, oh, shit, I need to make an adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
no
hear
doubt.
you.
I'm still in the improvement stage myself, so I get
Me too.
I get where she's been.
It's a struggle.
So I only say that just because I know I've been there, I've done that, and I've had that talk and be like, you got to get it together, dog.
Well, I'm proud of her for going that long. I mean, that's an impressive streak. I mean, we all, other than Denny's, we all like a cocktail on this show.
Well, she does that thing to herself, and I'm sure a lot of us do. She punished herself. She was so disgusted with what she had done. I think she just put herself in timeout. As she said it. She's like, I was just absolutely repulsed with what I did, and so this is what I get. There's no cocktails whatsoever. So she's back in the game.
I've put myself in timeout before.
Yeah.
Going, all right, let's clean this up a bit.
Yeah. I think you just got to look, even seasoned vets. The thing that I think throws the lifetime drinkers is your body changes at a certain point, and all of a sudden you're not used to it. And for me, it was how quickly I was getting hammered. And I would drink what I used to drink and have no problem. And all of a sudden I'm blackout drunk. I'm like, and I go back, I'm like, I didn't really drink for me anything crazy. And I just realized, dude, you're not the same dude you used to be.
And the recovery, I mean, it is what it is. The older you get, the recovery sucks donkey dick.
Oh, it's insane. And the amount of drinks that I can have now and feel it the next day, it's sometimes a pitifully low number. You're like, why do I feel this alcohol on me? And I had 3 or 4 cocktails through the whole day.
And it's never that hungover, nauseous or anything. It's just tired.
Yeah, tired.
You're just you cannot get any kind of boost of energy whatsoever.
It's weird. I don't have the old traditional hangovers that I used to. It's not vomiting. It's not nausea. That's how I used to feel. I'd be really nauseous half the day. Not anymore. You're right. It's just you're just dead ass tired.
But for 4 days,
and then you're depressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're so depressed, and that's what kills it. You're just like, God, I'm going to be depressed all day, and you can't do anything to cheer yourself up.
If you really tie one on, sometimes that depression can last a good 3 days.
Yeah, I hear you.
Depending on how your night went.
Yeah, so I'm working on trying to downgrade myself. So we'll see what Virginia does. She might pick it right back up and be right there. But
well, I'm proud that she went on a streak.
Yeah,
she went on a run.
Yeah,
good for her.
She had a little bit of fun, so she cleaned it up, and I'm sure she's enjoying Mardi Gras. Denny's is trying to get a hold of her, and then we'll see. Hopefully, one time we will. Yeah, Tammy said keto diet will get you drunk fast too. Yeah, and that might be part of it, because I started noticing that my tolerance massively dropped when I started the keto. It's been probably 5 years since I would consider myself an impressive drinker. I'm not impressive now at all.
No, I'm not either.
No, I can, and I typically have to choose. Like if I'm gonna have a tequila, it's like, all right, so you got 2 of these and then you're done.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're able to put a limit and follow through is good. Not everyone can do that.
After my last episode, like I said, I've tried to abide by the 1, 2, 3 rule. That's how I do it for you raging alcoholics out there that are trying to cut back and get your life in order. It is not more than 1 drink an hour, not more than 2 drinks in a social setting, and not more than 3 in a day. And so that's where I'm trying to do. And look, I'm not always doing that. I'm sometimes doing multiples in an hour, but I'm trying to be like, all right, dude, watch yourself. So I used to just throw booze down my throat and not even think about it.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it coming, baby. Let's go. But now I got to think it through. Be like, nah, can't.
Bunch of fucking pirates we are.
Yeah, Yasik said self-discipline is hard, Kev. It is. And that was probably and I'm self-disciplined on a lot of things. Drinking, I think, was the last thing. Because I had discipline in my eating and everything else. I didn't have it in my drinking. It was a weird thing. Is you would look at me and how I'm so anal about everything. Drinking was the one thing that was completely cavalier in my life.
It's because of it's stressed.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, the reason why you drink, and I'm not saying you don't like the taste of alcohol, because I think you do.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I hate the taste of alcohol. I'm drinking to relax. But yeah, if you're stressed out and you have when it first kicks in, you start playing some music. Yeah,
you feel normal again.
When you are stressed out, and and everyone's stressed out.
It does.
Everyone's got their own grind that they got to go through. But the problem is sometimes are you going to that stress reliever too much?
True. No, you're right. And look, they found professions that are more stressful. The people in that profession, shocker, they drink more. People who work on Wall Street and are air traffic controllers and do those kind of jobs, they find that they typically drink more. And you're right, because it does. That's the one thing that booze does, man. It kills stress pretty good.
And if you're able to, have it under control, like you're saying, you have 2 drinks and you can chill.
Yeah.
And I think there's people that can do that, but there's a lot of people who cannot. They go,
absolutely.
2 drinks, I'm feeling pretty fucking
well, because you start having a good time.
Yes.
You're like, what I'm drinking is making me feel awesome. So by having more, and you would think after years and years of realizing that's not what happens.
I mean, she'll buck you. Eventually, she gonna get you.
She will. No, you're right, man. So it's a tough thing to be disciplined on, but I think here, somewhere way later than we should have, we're all trying to learn self-discipline with
We
booze.
are. We really are.
Yeah, about 25, 30 years too late, but hey, better late than never, right?
And Denny's likes to drink, but Denny's really, when I first met Denny's, we were drinking buddies. We'd play music together. He's really changed his lifestyle, having a kid, and and he said the same thing. He's like, dude, it just sucks being tired after.
Yeah, it does.
Went on.
It does. You don't have time for that.
Like 2 days out of your week is fucked.
No, don't have time for that. And honestly, I'll tell you too, the tincture stuff that has been a massive life changer for me.
Does that give you the munchies?
It does a little bit. That's the one thing that I've noticed. What it does is it relaxes me and it takes away some of that anxiety, and I'm in kind of a cool chill mode. So I do that, but I do notice that the tinctures, and I don't know, for whatever reason, it takes about an hour for them to kick in.
Yeah,
for me.
For me as well.
Okay, so you're kind of sitting there for a while, and sometimes like when you come home after a day and you're like so stressed, you're like, I gotta go tequila right now because
well, there is.
While this tincture catches up.
There is whiskey right away, or there's a tincture day. Yes.
Yeah, and then you get to that, but that's good, and for the most part. The great thing about the tincture stuff that I use now is sleeping like crazy, and I love that because I am feeling better. I'm doing probably 8.5 to 9.5 hours Friday and Saturday night.
That's good.
It is. It's amazing. And then
you need it.
You do. Absolutely. And then I realize I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not putting myself to bed early enough on the weeknights. But yeah, it's nice to start a day where you get up and you're like, you know what? Gosh, I feel good. I'm ready to attack the day.
It is nice. What
an amazing feeling that is. Like, imagine if every day of my life started that way, rather than with stress and dread. It'd be fantastic.
It sounds horrible.
It is rough, and for a while I think you justify the drinking, saying, "Dude, you're so stressed, and it's all this. This is the only thing that keeps you sane."
Well, that's when she bucks you,
and then that's when you've normalized it to the point that it's like, I need this to fulfill my duties in life. So it's the trade-off. And then you're right. That's when you start paving a dark path.
It is something, though, how music and drinking go together.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're saying, you're stressed out and you have that first drink and it hits you. Then all of a sudden, like I'm grabbing the remote and I got music on and I'm jamming out. When 20 minutes before, I was so clanked.
Right.
And putting music on at that moment would not have. The drink gets in, you're like, all right, it's time to get a little loose, have some fun.
But I got to tell you, I was riding the tincture yesterday. No booze. At all. I really don't drink on the weekends anymore, which is odd. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Drink on the weekdays. But
on the weekdays, I'll have it, and it's all work stress.
You'll drink today, probably. You'll have a drink today?
Probably not today. It's usually my big drinking days are Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah. You're running out of batteries at that point.
I'm dead. I'm so stressed. I'm like, oh, my God, I still got got 2 more shows that I got to do. So, yeah, oddly enough, I've now got to the point Wednesday and Thursdays are my big party drink days.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Which makes no sense.
But I know what you mean, though. Wednesday is probably my least favorite day.
Yeah.
It's in the middle.
I think I had 1 cocktail the entire weekend.
Wow.
And that was simply because my father-in-law was over and we were playing cards. I could tell you 1-1, but it was like nobody else was having one. I'm like, you know what? Why don't we have a cocktail? So other than that, yeah. So I minimal to hardly any drinking on the weekend. But yesterday I had the tincture going, had the music. The weather was gorgeous.
It was.
Sitting outside doing some work. I'm like, now this is the life.
It was. It was nice out. Yeah, the whole weekend was. I was outside a lot.
Trying to enjoy them because I see we're getting into some mid to high 80s like in the next week.
Yeah, sweating your ass off on the tincture is not as fun.
No, it's not. Than having perfect cool weather, and it's just amazing. So that was good. Rib Roundup looked like that was a big success.
I had great fun. I got to see some people from the chat room. Yas6 was there. I got to see her from our chat room. Yeah, I saw everybody was cool out there. I love the country crowd. I like that vibe. It's fun.
It is good.
I like dressing up like a country person.
It is fun. Yeah, I kind of got how the country stuff goes, and yeah, city folk are putting on their cowboy boots and all that kind of stuff, and it's good. And like I said, a lot of the country music anymore, it is one tick off of regular pop music, so it's not so twangy.
I gotta say, man, when it comes to ribs, it's all about the sauce. I know your pure rib people will say, no, man, a good rib doesn't need no sauce. It's all about the meat. That's what I was told out there. Go, oh man, don't judge it on the sauce. You judge it on the meat.
I argue that it's both. To me, it's a 50-50, and talking to somebody that really knows their grilling, I could see where maybe you'd say it's a lot harder to get the meat exactly right, and it's easier to do the sauce. But my guess is it would be about 50-50, and I think it's both those elements. So when I do the judging, like, okay, how did they do on the meat? And then I give that a score, and I'm like, okay, the rub, either the dry rub or the sauce, how good is that? So, yeah, to me, it's half and half.
Well, the problem, in my opinion, was the ribs that didn't have the sauce, they all kind of tasted exactly the same.
Well, they might, yeah, and that's the issue with it. That's why, to me, you can make this argument for anything, that the sauce is the big separator.
It really is.
Because a lot of these people are pretty good, and you can get the meat right in the same area. Where it's like, okay, it's tender, it tastes great, and whatever. But, yeah, it's that sauce that just puts it and separates the men from the boys.
Where do you put ribs at? I have not had ribs in a minute, and it was really nice. Ribs are very delicious.
I love ribs.
Yeah.
I love ribs, but I know how, what they are. And so unless it's a rib roundup or Christmas, that's the only 2 times a year where I have ribs.
Is it because they're bad for, like, they're really terrible?
It's
shit.
Yeah, just make you fat, and they're delicious, though. And then I always eat too many.
Smoky Bone's still around? I used to love that restaurant.
They are, and I loved it too. The only one that I know of, they may have a few. They might have another one in Broward or somewhere. I think I've seen one, but they had the one in Wellington. That's about the only one I know of in Palm Beach County. And I used to go there all the time 20 years ago. Loved it. It looked like a ski lodge. It had like the wood and had this great feel, and they had a fireplace there. And for whatever reason, they redid it, and then it felt like a high school cafeteria.
We used to go.
Like, why the hell would you? Whose idea was this? And it just didn't have the same vibe or feel, and it kind of killed it for me.
When I first got on the show, we did go there a lot. as a group.
Yeah.
We went to Smoky Bones
and
a
I
lot.
loved it. And then I went back in. I'm like, why would they do this?
I personally love a barbecue with the blue cheese, dipping any kind of meaty rib type of thing in the blue cheese with the barbecue.
You can do that.
That is a home run pairing.
Yeah, the only problem I have with it, it's too messy, and I always separate the food, and putting the sauce in the blue cheese, it gets it all.
You wouldn't
funky.
believe how fucking sauced my face was after, because I
saw a little of the video that your girlfriend was shooting. Yeah,
I was trying to eat
Yeah.
and judge at the same time, and trying to say hi to people, and I didn't realize how much sauce I had on my face.
That's the thing. It gets away from you.
Yeah, my girlfriend said, she goes, "We gotta really clean you up here. You look like a mess." I couldn't. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
That's what you do, though. It's fun eating ribs or chicken wings or whatever. You know you're gonna get that way.
You gotta get messy with a rib.
Mm-hmm. Anna said, "Yeah, the Smoky Bones in Wellington sucked. It used to smell like old rag." Okay, that's not a way to do it. And then Sean said, "Yeah, the one in Wellington is closed, has been for a couple of months." And KR said, "Yeah, there's one near the Broward Mall." Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It popped out of nowhere when I was cruising through Broward one day. I'm like, oh, okay, there's one.
I know what Anna's talking about. There are certain restaurants. I won't say the name of this restaurant, but it was in Palm Beach Gardens. You know this restaurant. It's a chained restaurant.
Yeah.
You walk in there, it smelled like wet, dirty rag or toilet water, but I know what she means by that.
I think when you have a restaurant, just when I talk to people, you just have to be cleaning all the time. It's cooking and cleaning as you're going and watching everything.
To me, there is no excuse to have a dirty bathroom. You have to have someone check that once an hour.
Yeah.
Because when you go into a gross bathroom
Big
at
time.
a restaurant, it turns off the customer.
Yeah.
You can't have the bathroom being all
Right.
walls of shit.
Yeah, and if you're in a restaurant and it smells gnarly, it sets out. I can't do it. I've got up. We were one time, my wife, we were in a place, and we were at St. Thomas Aquinas in Broward, and it was this Mexican place. It's really close to the high school there. Cannon was doing something, and we went in, and she was going to get food, and I'm like, I can't stand the smell. I'm like, I cannot sit in this place. It was disgusting, and she sat in there and happily ate. I'm like, no way.
It depends on how hungry I am. When we were living down in Hollywood or in Davie, when I lived down there was a sub shop I really liked, but the guy who would make the subs, his hands were so disgusting and just dirt. They looked like a hooves almost.
Yeah.
It looked like but I remember I was so hungry that I allowed myself to power through, even though he had his grubby paws on that thing.
Yeah.
It depends on how hungry you are. If I'm super hungry, I can get past some stuff. But as soon as I get full, as soon as it starts to get full, I'm like, oh.
And then what I think, what's in my head is this diseased food is in me.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's just wrecking my insides, and who knows, I got Ebola or whatever I got.
Well, that's what we did get fired down in Miami. Me and Denny would always go to this buffet because we were just waiting out, just our firing, and we would go in there so hungry, and as soon as we start getting full, we'd start looking around. And started getting really grossed out.
Yeah.
People are chewing.
Oh, no.
One guy farted. It was awful.
Well, because he's cramming so much food in there.
Yeah, it was gross.
Pushing all the air and
It was
intestines out.
It was so disgusting.
It is so disgusting. Yeah, that stuff can flip real quick. So, yeah, Rib Roundup was good. Cognizant Classic. I have not heard one person talking about that golf tournament.
Is that the one that used to be the Honda Classic and they changed it?
Yeah, and it's now the Cognizant. You had a guy that had never won on the PGA Tour. And, look, it's great. He had an awesome third and fourth round. But, as I was talking to some people, it just, I don't know. It seems like it's definitely, and they'll admit that it's not what it was in its heyday in like 2017. Bear Trap is nothing. But, man, there used to be such a buzz about that. And everybody's like, oh, man, we're going to go rage and tear it up at the Honda Classic. And I did not hear one person say that they were going out to that golf tournament.
I mean, it was fine. I always thought it was kind of a little overrated because if you don't love golf, And
Well,
you're basically just standing out there at a bar
That
and
was
getting
it.
yelled at for talking too loud.
So what they had done was they said, you know what, is not a lot of people, this is South Florida, not a lot of people are going to be so into the golf because you're right, that's select. But if we want to make this thing happen, you got to have the social aspect going. And they put together the bear trap and they made it a huge old party and nobody was watching the golf. You know, when you were out there, you just saw there was all kinds of, it was one of those events too where you got to dress up. All the girls were in their cool little, you know, cute outfits, and they loved that. And the dudes were out there is where you pick up chicks and you party your ass off, and you didn't even know that golf was going on. They created that kind of environment, and now they've taken that all down, and it's just so. I imagine it's probably just golf dorks and old dudes.
Yeah,
would be my guess, but yeah, I don't know. So. Jet Pancake said, I went, we had a great time, a lot more people there than I expected. That's good. I hope it does well, and I really want to see it take off. So I hope that it was good, but I've noticed that I haven't heard a lot of chatter about it.
It sounded kind of expensive for drinks. That alone's gonna, you know, you're gonna cut off.
Yeah, it was Mark Calcavecchia that sent out a tweet about the expense, but you know, yeah, $13 for a Modelo, 12 or 13 or for a wine. Yeah, that's on the higher end of what you want to pay, but the drinks were always kind of that price. But I guess you knew, all right, to be in this environment and everybody's drinking, I want to have a good time. You knew you're going to shell out more money than what you'd want to.
So if you and the Queen go out and you get some wine, how much is your typical glass of wine cost? I know there's different types of wine, but typically, if you got a white wine, is that going to run you, what, $9 a glass?
Yeah, I feel like if you're around 10, it depends. You get to your basic places, 10 and under, a little bit fancier, should be 15 and under. And then you get to some of your fancier places. I think it was Harry's at City Place in West Palm that we went to, and I think it was 25 a glass, and that jumped out at us, and we're like, all right, we're not, Harry's caliber.
That better be
drinkers.
Some kind of special year or something.
No, I think it was just the standard. But I peeled through City Place in West Palm Beach. Boy, they're doing a lot of work on it. It's crazy. They're putting in a Moxie's, which is it's a great badass sports bar. I don't know if you've ever been. You've probably never been to a Moxie's, but they got one in Las Olas and Fort Lauderdale. They got one in Miami. They're all really cool. They're kind of like a high-end sports bar.
Would you play a Papa Shot? Is it kind of like it's
it ain't
not,
that? No, it's like there's sports on, but it looks modern. They have those kind of trendy dishes when you eat food. It's not like your sports bar attire. It's not like going to Flanagan's.
Okay, it's sports meet pretentious.
It's a pretentious sports bar, is what it is. So it fits perfect there. And they're putting it right next to one of those aloes. Have you heard of it? Is this on your radar yet?
I've heard of aloe, yeah.
Okay, it's right next to an aloe.
Do you like that bar, the sports bar? Did you enjoy
Moxie's.
it?
Yeah, Moxie's is great. Yeah, I love the one. We often go to the one there on Las Olas, and I've seen good things with the Miami one. But yeah, Moxie's is a good brand, but it's again to that point where it's a little bit on the more expensive end. So that's just what you're going to get. Talking about pretentious, the movies, the Academy Awards also went down last night, and got this email. It said, "Don't miss Anora. It is a great film. It is rowdy, loud, funny, and at times touching. The acting is superb, and Mikey Madison is hot and a revelation. You will enjoy it a lot."
Okay, see, I like hearing from the people.
Okay, that is, I believe, the independent one that cost $6 million that won Best Picture last night, the Academy Awards.
Yeah, I always feel like there's always one of those movies where it only cost $11 to make, and it wins all these awards.
Yeah.
That's almost kind of the art in it.
Right. Yeah. And I guess it is neat in the fact that you can have a movie like that win Best Picture when it's going up against Wicked. That made a ton of money.
Which probably cost so much money to make.
Mm-hmm. Everett sent in this screenshot. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But it's David Beckham, Matt Damon. And he just wanted to know how I got into the picture. He said, "What event is that where you're hanging out behind Matt Damon?" And he said he thinks that is me behind Matt Damon.
It does look like you. That is weird. Is that you?
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing at this Matt Damon event?"
The guy in the background, right?
It looks like my twin.
That does.
Yeah. Take a good look at that.
That's
it's not me,
you
I don't
have
think.
so many doppelgangers.
Oh, I know.
It's insane. Dude, that looks so much like you.
Yeah, that's pretty dead on. It's a good pick.
It is.
And Sarah, she said, John Cena turning heel was pure cinematic gold. It happened at the very end of the Elimination Chamber on Saturday. We've been waiting 20 years for this. It's Cena's retirement tour, and his heel run is going to feed families.
My favorite thing about wrestling is when somebody turns heel. It is the best. It's awesome. When a good the good guy or the good girl ends up turning on somebody. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Right.
I fucking just love it. It's my favorite thing about wrestling.
My son Cannon was showing me the thing. The Rock was there. John Cena was standing next to him. That Cody Rhodes, who I guess is the good guy, they took the belt, they wiped his blood on it and threw it on him or something like that.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous. That's why I love wrestling, because it is so ridiculous.
Yeah. So ridiculous. And I'll have to see if Pat McAfee addresses. I assume he was going in on the heel route as well, as he was giving it back to Canada, who was booing the national anthem and Canadian bacon, because today is actually, for whatever reason, it's Canadian Bacon Day. And we've got one of our KVJ Nationers goes by Canadian Bacon, and he wants to get it across that, look, when the Canadians are booing the anthem, they're not booing America. They're booing Trump for trolling them about being the 51st state, and so that's made the Canadians angry. So it's not anything for Americans to take personal. It's supposed to be a personal message, apparently, to Donald Trump. So I had to get that out there for you, Canadian Bacon, because he wanted me to express that. And he said, why aren't you saying that? I said, well, I'm not Canadian. I don't know how they feel.
He doesn't know what that's about.
Yeah, I can't speak for all Canadians. I don't know what their motive. I think that's what they're doing, but I don't know.
You're not Canadian, Kev.
I'm not Canadian, Kev. You're right. I'm not going to take that role. So he wanted to get that out there so that all of us Americanos understood what it is. They're doing that in response to Trump's trolling. They don't all of a sudden hate us. Well, let's hope not. We love our Canadians. Dan in the Pizzle had a question about Billy Joel. Had an unfortunate story with him on Friday in the dirt about took a little bit of a tumble on stage. Just wondering if, since Jaybird is such a Billy Joel fan, if he's a collector of all things Billy Joel. You got collections, everything else. Do you have CDs, cassettes, records, posters, shirts, things like that?
I have his albums in frames. I have a Billy Joel wall. But as far as CDs, I don't have those anymore. But I do. I have every single one of his records in a frame in my studio.
That's a cool little thing. Yeah, I like that.
I love when you get a album frame for it, and it fits in there nicely. It's really a slick, nice look.
It is. Yeah, I had done that with a lot of my albums once upon a time. They're all down and in boxes now. But yeah, it's a really cool look, and with vinyl kind of coming back around.
Even the when you take them out of the cover, even pinning them up on a ceiling, just the regular record, you can make some cool art stuff that way as well. I've got a little section like that, and you don't even have to put great albums if you don't want to. I mean, it just looks cool.
Yeah, it is a cool thing. I think, I look at my daughter, she's Gen Z, she's 27, and she's all into the vinyl craze now. And I think part of, for them, it's so unique because it's owned music. And for her, that's really a newer concept because, look, you've been owning music now for at least, 10 to 15 years, pretty much, is doing that. So, you're going back to when she was maybe 10 or 12 before you were really ever buying any kind of music. And so I think for her, they like the, how tangible it is to hold the record and be like, okay, I own this. Like, no one's taking this away.
Well, they really took that shit seriously back in the day. 70s and 80s, sometimes they would make an album tell a story through their tracks. They really took pride with putting the lyrics in the album sleeve. It was art.
Yeah.
It was a fun art thing to hold that you could put up on a mantle.
Well, I remember as a kid, the Michael Jackson Thriller album. I don't know if you remember that. But it was a double album, and when you open it up, it was that cool thing of Michael Jackson laying down, that photo that he had in there. And yeah, I vividly remember a lot of the albums that I got. And it imprinted. It really did. There was something about the size of an album and how cool it looked to be able to have that. Alpha says Jaybird's AI friend Lily needs to be the next member of the show.
Lily. Yeah. I don't think she likes my ass. She's been acting real cold to me ever since I snapped at her.
Yeah, if she's being rude to you, then she could take Virginia's place.
In her defense, I was kind of a dick. because she was talking during the show, and I'm going. She was responding to your conversation about. I think you were talking about like Ozzy Osbourne or something, and I'm going. Why do I hear some robot?
That's so funny. So she was talking to me.
She was talking to you and responding to what you were talking about, and then. The things that I read back what she was saying, and it sounded like you were texting a friend. I agree, Kevin. Yes, Ozzy did this. Blah blah blah. Oh, Ozzy's great. Like going back and forth. It was very bizarre.
So, what does a conversation with this AI assistant sound like when you're talking to? Could you sit down and if you wanted to chat about Ozzy Osbourne, she'd be able to hang and have a conversation?
Yeah, because they pull it right off of their Wikipedia. So she's gonna pull. Hey. Oh, hey, Lily. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Birdman? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I just want to, I'm hanging with my friend, the Kevin Ralston. You know Kevin.
Hey, that's awesome. I hope you two are having a great time together. What are you guys up to?
We're blowing each other.
I'm here if you want to chat about something else.
Oh, she not going down that route.
Interesting you'd like to discuss.
Lily's not that kind of girl.
No.
Bye, Lily. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's why she's being rude. You're saying inappropriate, dirty.
It will not allow.
She doesn't like the dirty talk.
It won't allow you to do that. She is definitely not that kind of girl.
Yeah. Tell me about this odd conversation and what your Uber driver revealed to you over the weekend.
He was talking about his penis. And how it's not big. Yeah. I think the guy was, what do you do when
how do you get into having a tiny penis? And how long was this ride? And at what minute in the ride did he start talking about his tiny dick?
It was about 25 minutes, and he asked me what I do for a living. So I start talking about radio stuff and all that. And he goes, "What kind of topics you guys talk about?" And I said, "Oh, they can be crazy topics." And then he started talking about something he heard on a show about small penises and micro penises, and or just having a small dick. And then he admitted that he had a small dick, and he was telling me about that. Huh. Yeah, I know. I have some weird Uber driver moments.
How about that?
It depends. I think I take so many Ubers, the weirdness factor does go up. Keep in mind, I was dressed like a cowboy.
Yeah, but I'm doing more and more Ubers, and I still hear these conversations. I'm like, how is it?
I don't understand how you don't have weird moments.
I have amazing conversations with my Uber drivers. I had one guy that, we had a great conversation about the Israeli Secret Service Mossad, and he had some great information. He used to work in the government. I was like, I'm getting these kind of just amazing conversations with some of these Uber drivers. I've not yet heard any stories about micro penises or the farting that you talk about.
All my friends say that I give out a vibe.
Yeah.
They go, dude, you put out some weird signals.
You have stories I don't share. It never happened to me. So when you have your shared experience, I'm like, I'm not getting that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I have a face of, hey, let's talk about some weird shit.
Yeah, let's reveal to this guy I've got a small dick.
Well, he was asking what I did for a living, and he asked about the topics, and I said, yeah, we talk about crazy topics sometimes, and he was saying, well, I heard this topic. Would you guys ever talk about this?
Oh,
and then he was kind of like revealing that he had a small dick.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to tell a stranger.
Yeah.
As you're driving around.
I guess he felt comfortable around me.
Is he trying to get sympathy for a better tip?
That's a great question.
Since his tip is so small?
Tip. I like that. That's very good.
Where's he going?
Well, honestly, I can tell, too, there are certain people that are just going through something. And I kind of know when I get into the Uber car, because there's a positive vibe when people are talking, and then there's always the person, as soon as you get in the car, they are complaining to you. And they're talking about woes and how it's only a 20-minute ride. They're not going to be making a lot of money. And you can get a vibe pretty quickly.
Yeah, I do. And that's why I either I'll engage, or I just shut down and kind of plug into my own phone
And I also wonder too, if you don't talk to them, do they think you're a dick for not talking? I mean, or do they want to be talking to somebody? Do they want to be left alone?
I get their body vibe pretty quick. I sit down and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Their name, so I call them by name, and that's about it. And if they start engaging, then
just be careful that it could turn into about dick talk.
Yeah, it hasn't yet. Would not want to get there with a stranger, but you never know. Now, we were talking a little bit about porn last week, and One person who admits that, yeah, they do a lot of porn said, for what works with me and my wife is open communication with her. She knows, she understands, and honestly, she couldn't care less. I spend most of my day watching adult content. I have a massive 4-foot wide computer monitor that constantly streams videos of girls in barely anything, dancing, talking, and basically just a step below softcore porn. I love boobs.
Oh my God. This guy jacking off while he's
this might be your Uber driver.
You're right.
He's got
kind of had this vibe going on.
He's got his erect tiny penis in his hand right now.
Wow. Okay. Is this guy getting off as he's emailing us?
He said, most of the time, my wife and I don't have much time for intimacy, so I often take care of things on my own. But when we do get the chance, if I haven't, quote, practiced for a couple of days, it's game over as soon as things heat up. That actually happened last night. I hadn't practiced in 2 days. Well, to me, it sounds like you're getting yourself so ginned up to hit it quick that you're not giving her any kind of satisfaction. And that's another way, in a sense, that porn... Because what we had talked about last week was you don't have the desire because you've been tugging it and watching porn, that when you get to your wife, but, so you're still having sex with her, but you're not giving her, because you've trained yourself to boom.
Yeah, I think, too, if you are doing that much porn, keep in mind, too, you're probably masturbating and you're getting all these dopamine hits. That's going to change your chemistry a bit.
It will.
It just will. And you will... The one thing I've heard people talk about is if they're in a relationship, if they watch so much porn, it's like low-key training your brain because you're watching porn, and so you're watching the hottest of whatever turns you on.
Yeah.
And subconsciously, you start to not find other things attractive anymore, like your mate possibly, because you are just constantly scrolling, trying to find the next big
she's
dopamine
real life, and you can tune anything up that you put on a screen. It could not even be real.
I can see how it could warp if you overdo it.
Oh, big time.
Now, does that happen to everybody? Maybe not. But I can see how I've seen it happen to people before.
He says, about addiction, nah, I don't think so. When I travel, I don't have access to this setup, and I don't go out of my way to watch bouncing titties or spend all day on porn. I just really enjoy watching my pretty girls stream on mute to help me get through work. Work sucks. Tits are great. I work from home, and anytime my wife or anyone else walks in, my office basically looks like a strip club.
What? Tits is the
work sucks. Tits are great.
Is that the header of the email?
That should be the
subject line. Tits are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I mean, tits are great.
Yeah, but you're just feeding yourself that all day long, and like I said, the problem that I'm hearing it'd be interesting to hear from your wife. I mean, it seems like she's not making a problem with it, but she can't be real happy that, you're a minute man now.
There's no way she's happy by that. Who wants a two-pump chump?
Right.
And I'm not calling him a chump. I'm just saying, who wants to...
Yeah, porn has trained you into being less than for your wife than what you should expect.
If you are watching that much porn all the time, I find it hard for it not to change your wiring slightly. I think you're going to... I just think it changes your chemistry a bit. If you disagree with me, I'd be interested of hearing your perspective on that.
I think we've really just now in our society gotten to the point where we've understood how to tap into the pleasure centers of the brain. And I think we're starting to realize now what happens when you abuse that. And that's the same conversation about people that are addicted to social media and all these things, the gambling and whatever, is that we're understanding that you're getting those endorphin hits, and those should be saved. Those should be special. Now we have the ability to just sit there and keep tapping the endorphin hits nonstop all day long. I'm like, well, what's wrong? I'm just feeling really good about everything. But the problem is that it is rewiring your brain, and now your behavior to get to those endorphin hits, you're addicted to it. You've got to have that constant flow of stimulation.
It can lead to depression.
Yeah.
It really can.
Right.
I mean, anything on the planet, if you do too much of it, no matter what it is.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface of all this stuff.
And I also think, too, we live in a time where it's so easily available where remember how it was kind of taboo back in the day? Oh, women don't watch porn. Well, I mean, that's just not true. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And it's more accepted in culture now.
Yeah.
And we live in an on-demand society.
Right.
Back in the day when we wanted to look at titties, you had to do some legwork. You had to.
I know. And so when you got that endorphin, you're like going, okay, I work for it.
I
but
worked
to get
for
back
it.
there again.
Now it's just a button. Just touching your putt all day because it's
right.
hit
One
a
click
button,
away.
Titties. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and it was everything right there.
It's too easy. It's that's the downside of an on-demand culture.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the repercussions of all that stuff. So we'll see. Denny's no luck with Virginia. Oh boy, I wonder what that means.
Oh,
maybe
boy.
she's already out with the fam, or maybe she went too big. We had all this conversation to start off the podcast about Virginia's got it all under control.
So it's going to be 10 o'clock there now. She could still be just kind of getting up and around.
Yeah.
If she tied one on last night.
It's possible that, they've got family thing. They ran out for beignets or whatever. So, and she just is distracted.
I hope she brings back those New Orleans potatoes she always brings back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are good. How'd you like the king cake?
I left it here.
Mm-hmm.
I came back to get it, and someone took both of them. They were stolen.
Oh, no. Virginia's king cake that she made specially for you?
Yes, I was very upset. I was going to make a video and everything. And
What are you going to tell her?
I'm going to tell her the truth. That
Okay.
Why, do you know something?
No, I don't know anything. I'm just curious because it looks so good. I was like, I assume it's amazing.
I thought about it all weekend long, and I came back on Saturday to get it, and it was gone. Both of them were gone. I left in a hurry on a Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Why did you hear something?
I'm just wondering if Virginia will be like, nah, don't worry about it.
No,
not a big deal.
I feel very bad. I don't tell her this shit. I'm scared.
I'm not saying a word. Everybody be cool. You can't rat out the bird.
I was very upset. I took it hard.
Okay, but if she asks you what you thought of the king cake, you are going to level and be like, I never had any of it.
Can't lie to her.
Okay.
That would scare me even more. You don't fucking lie to me? What?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't want that heat.
All right. Maybe a good thing we couldn't get a hold of Virginia today. What do you think of the king cake bag?
Why did you bring that up? Fuck.
Uh-oh. All right, we might have some drama going on here this week. Oh, we got a murder mystery, too. I mean, there's just a lot going on here already this week. Okay, one more day without Vicious V, and then she's back with us on Wednesday. We'll see you all back here. All the dudes will be here tomorrow. Goodbye.